It's another wonderful episode of man, you can call it a lot of things, but it's it's another episode of man, we out here, and we came here, for a reason. And the goal of this whole dialogue, which technically started between you and I, and we expanded to other people, is to win. When people say, "Hey, how you doing this morning?" Man, I like to feel like I woke up like I'm up 20. Like I'm up 20. Sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm up 20. A lot of people, don't play basketball or whatever. They don't really know what that means, but it's that feeling of I'm already winning. I'm up, right? I woke up winning. So that's what we're here to do. And so we get started on time because I'm like a caged animal. When you open that gate, if you just put me in there a minute ago and you open that gate, man, good luck to you. And you know what it is. I'm hopping out the gate firing, right? Because I like freedom. And so I'm excited always to have these calls and these conversations and things like that. So we start on time because we love our life. And if we love our life, we'll love time because our life is comprised of time. It's made up of time. That's what Bruce Lee said. So yeah, man, we often running from the gate. Gate opens at 7 and we on here at 7. So are there any questions before I get started? Sometimes I like to start with questions. Sometimes I'll end with them. But are there any questions before I get started? Not all good, but sometimes I like to start with them. Sometimes I like to end with them, or sometimes happens in the middle. But I just like to, sometimes I'll ask at the beginning.
Right? No questions over here.
No questions over here. All right. So there's one thing that I said that I always say, okay, so let me maybe go around the back way. So there's a couple different things that I've said to people throughout the week, and sometimes I like to bring it into the conversation. So some things we've heard before, if I've talked to you during the week, whether it's your family or a friend, or whether it's someone that I'm helping. And so sometimes I realize that, hey, this thing is something that needs to be talked about maybe in a larger scale, right? And on a bigger scale, because people can really use it. And so, because there's a lot of things that a lot of times people just don't know. So I'm going to say this, and some of you that know me, some of you that I've spoken to this week, you may have heard this before, but it's for you again, right? Because faith comes by hearing, and also for those who haven't heard it. So the topic this week is like, why are you here, right? And why we are here. And like I said, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I said, this is not motivational speaking. This is not positive thinking. This is not that. We are motivational speaking is like warming up the outside of food. So it's hot on the outside, but if you bite into it, it's not necessarily hot on the inside as well, right? The heat that I am giving to you is to heat up the inside just as much as the outside. It's to inspire you. It's to turn you on the inside. It's to make sure that not only are you hot on the outside, but you're hot on the inside. Yeah, the information makes you hot on the outside, but that it sinks into you to inspire you from the inside to be heated up, so that you're self-driven, self-motivated, you are self-aware, self-disciplined, self-reliant, so that you're turned on the inside. Otherwise, eating something hot on the outside and cold on the inside is not satisfying. It's great to be motivated. It's great to, a lot of times everything starts from the outside, a sense of, when you're heated up, right? It hits your skin and goes on the inside and comes back out, right? So a lot of motivating talk and inspiring talk does that. And today we're going to get some of that, because we're going to eat with our hands a little bit today. We're going to eat on the ground a little bit today. And not that those are bad things, but, sometimes we're going to put the little silverware away. We're going to put the delicacies and the niceties away. And we're going to get to, as they say on the street, right, brass tacks. We're going to keep it real. We're going to talk about things in a way that we understand them or need to understand them so that we can apply them to the things that we do understand, whether it's our money, our health, our business, or whatever else it may be. So I want to explain something, like I said, to some people that I've already said it to. It'll be a second time. To the first people, it'll be a first time, but it's good every time. So imagine going to a pool party, right? And so, maybe when we're young or we're early 20s or whatever else it is, as we get older, a pool party, just everybody sits around and is glad they have a pool. But when you're young, everybody gets in it, right? And does something with it and around it and things like that. So at a pool party, you may have 1,000 people doing 1,000 things, right? There's some people swimming. There's some people just sitting in the shallow end, chilling. Some people putting their feet in the water. Some people standing there because they want to be in the water, but they in the shallow end because they don't want to get their hair wet or their whole outfit wet. Some people might have a little inflatable raft, so they're out there, doing what they do. There's some people swimming in the deep end or whatever else it is. But the whole point is that no matter what you do, no matter what you do at that pool party, if you get in that water, you better know the law of the water. You better know how to swim. It doesn't matter what you're doing at that party, at that pool party. If you are in that pool, you better know how to swim. If you're standing there, if your feet are in there, if you accidentally slip in or somebody pushes you in playing a joke, once you get into water and you get into that thing, there is a law as far as how it works. That's why people, when you're learning how to swim, you're essentially learning how to interact with this thing. And there's a law. There's an interaction, and the interaction is governed by a law. And if you don't know that law, your interaction is going to be poor. If you jump off the roof and don't know the law of gravity, your interaction with the concrete is going to be poor. Or the ground, doesn't matter almost anything you land on unless it's, some kind of mat and you're in the circus or something like that. But otherwise, if you hit that ground, your interaction with it is going to be poor because your ignorance of the law of gravity is going to cost you. Well, the ignorance of the law of water can cost you the same. So when we're around this pool and we're swimming or we're doing 1,000 different things we're doing, no matter what you're doing, you better know the law of water, right? Well, just take this life kind of analogous to that. Life is like a pool party, let's say, and everyone comes to the pool party to have a good time. And while we're in a group, while we're in society, we're amongst a bunch of different people, we're in a group, we're still individuals. So everyone at the pool party is together and they all came to hang out and all be together and do that. But it never stops your individuality. There's still people who want to have different experiences at the pool party. Like I said, some are in the shallow, some are deep, some don't want to get their hair wet, some just have their feet in, some are throwing a ball around, some are on a little inflatable raft, just chilling, whatever else it may be. But for all those people to truly be able to enjoy their time, they have to know the water. They have to know the law of the water. That's the only way you can enjoy a good time. Otherwise, fun turns into fright quick. So the point here is that everyone at this pool party still maintains their individuality in order to enjoy themselves and to have a good time. The law of the water is only there to keep you safe enough to enjoy your individuality. We are here to learn the law of mind, to learn how to think, the laws of mind. There's, the law of polarity, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of sowing and reaping, the law of, there's law after law. There's not that many. There's really 7 of them that they say, right? The universe is mental, all is mind, right? That's one of the first laws. That is the first law, right? And so the point is that the reason we're here to learn the law, right, is so that we can have a good time as an individual. The goal of learning the law is not to all be the same. It's not to all do the same thing. It's not to all be floating on a raft or all be standing in the shallow end. It's for all of us to express our individuality. It's not to be the same or do the same. It's to understand the water the same so that once we all know the same thing, we can express ourselves individually, right? And so that is what we're here. The law of mind allows us to enjoy this pool party, this life environment, right? And so it is important for us to understand that so that we can do that. If you're trying to sit in the pool in the shallow end because you can't swim, you are limited in your experience, right? If you don't want to get your hair wet, that's fine. You're limited though in your experience. If you know about getting your hair wet, then that limitation may not be a limitation. It may be a personal choice. But the point is that it's hard to make good choices or be free when you can't swim. When you don't know the law of the environment, you can't fully express it, experience it, or things like that. So it is important for us to know the law of our environment so that we can have the best, most appropriate, safe opportunity and experience. So when we are learning these laws of mind, that is what we're here for. We're not here to all be the same, to all do the same things, we're all different people. But the one thing we have to have in common is to know the law of mind, is to know how to think, is to know how to actually live in this environment that we're in and prosper. And so that we can have a good time at this pool party called life. That's why we're here, right? That's what we're doing here. We're not trying to be the same. We all have different lives, different experiences, different desires, different things. But in order for us to all be able to express our individuality, for all of us to be able to do it, or for anyone that does it, they have to know how to swim. We have to know how to think. It's that simple. We have to know how to think. So what we are here is learning how to swim. What we're here doing is learning how to swim. We are here learning the laws of the water. We're here learning the laws of the mind and how to interact with the water, life, how to have a good time at this pool party called life, right? That's why we're here. Because a lot of times we don't know, right? We suffer. We feel limited. We feel stuck. We wish and want. We look at that person in the deep end and they're doing these things. We look at that person swimming and they're doing these things. We look at people who have access to a point in life or a part of life that we don't as a result. And so we are here to be able to learn well enough, long enough, so that we can express everything that is in us collectively, but also individually. We're not here to die as an individual. We're not here to become a part of the world and a part of society where we just give up our individuality and what everyone else is doing, we're okay with. Like at a restaurant, what everyone else is eating, just give me what they have. That's not what we're here for, right? We're here to learn how to live well so that we can express our own individuality, because that's what life is. It is our own individual experience. And collectively we have one, but I don't care if somebody's playing baseball if I don't like baseball. I want to play basketball, or I want to play soccer, or I want to play football. So we're all here collectively to have an experience, but individually, that is what we're responsible for, is our own experience. So we're here to learn how to live that, how to master that, and apply that so that we can swim. We can do everything at this pool party called life that we want to do. I always say that there's one thing I said that's not true. And what I said was, I don't want anybody to follow me. I'm not trying to be anybody's teacher or guru. I'm giving you information. And I always tell you to look it up, research it, go back after it's over and sit with it for a while. Chew on it. Actually think about what you heard and what you learned or what you listened to and say, do I agree? Do I not agree? Why not? Or whatever else it is, right? So one thing I said that was not true that I want to, and you'll see what I mean when I say that. I want you to be like me in one way. I want everyone to be like me in one way. And I want to be like everyone else in this same way. Everyone else that I see is doing something. And what I mean by that is I want everyone to feel about what they're doing in life the same way I feel about what I'm doing right now. I want everyone to feel like me doing whatever it is that makes you feel that way. When I am doing this, I start at 7 o'clock because I'm like a caged tiger. I can't wait to get out. I don't wait online I don't wait for people to come in and, oh, well, let me wait to see if people get here and if you open that gate, I'm like a caged lion or a tiger. You open that gate, you know what it is. I'm not playing with you. There ain't nothing to talk about. If I get out, that's on you. You better start running or don't open the gate. But when you open that gate, I'm coming out right now. I'm not going to sit there in the back of the cage and say, are you serious? Are you for real? No. So this starts at 7 o'clock because I'm serious and I'm for real. And that means because I am passionate about my freedom. I am passionate about what I'm talking to you about. And that's what I want you guys to be like me in. I want you to find your own thing that you're passionate about, something that wakes you up. I'm up at, 7 o'clock West Coast time. I'm up at 3 o'clock pacing in my mind. 4 o'clock, I'm reading something. I have all kind of thoughts and ideas about what I want to talk to you all about today, along with other calls that I have later on, yesterday, tomorrow, whatever. But my mind is racing with things I've read 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 weeks ago, all coming back in to serve me for this moment and this time. Things I haven't read in years, haven't heard in years, all come back because this is my thing. And I want everyone to be able to do their thing. I want everyone to be put to bed by their dream, woken up by their dream. I want everybody to wake up and have their own Red Bull running through their veins, your own 5-hour energy running through your veins. I want everyone to feel that. I want everyone to live that. That's how I want you to be like me. I want you to wake up like a caged animal ready for your day. I want you to be hunting. I want you to be out there living. I want you to be out there living with your passion. Things that just make you smarter than you could be with your rational mind. When you're driven by your dream and your desire, when you're driven by your highest ambition, your highest desired expression. You don't need no Gatorade. You don't need a 5-hour energy drink. You don't need an IV. You are turned on, tuned in, tapped in. You're on fire, not because of some kind of positive thinking or some kind of motivational speech. You are just, it's that adrenaline is just surging through you. That's how I want you guys to be like me. And that's how when I see someone like that, I'm like, oh yeah, they're in their thing. I'm like, yeah, I look at it and I say, ooh wee, yeah, they're in their thing. I like that. I want to be like that. Not like them, like that. I want to feel about my life the way I can see that person feels when they're doing that thing. When they're good at something. I don't care if you're taking out the trash. I don't care if you're an electrician, a doctor, a lawyer. I don't care if you're a basketball player, a rap singer, right? I don't care what you are. When someone is good at something, I love watching it. I love seeing somebody who's in their lane, in their bag, on their game. There's just something to it. There's something in the way they do it, right? That is something that I can take away for what I do, because we're all individuals. We all have different desires and different expressions. That's what makes us valuable, is our uniqueness, is the fact that I'm not like you and you're not like me. And if everyone was doing their thing, just imagine the world that we'd be in, right? If everyone was living what they were passionate about, you wouldn't need an alarm clock. Everyone was doing what they're passionate about, no one would have to make you work. They'd have to stop you. If everyone was passionate about what they were doing, everyone would be healthy. You wouldn't have any time to not feel well. You'd be like, man, I ain't got time for that. I got things to do. I got places to be. I don't have time for that, right? A merry heart does good like a medicine. But how can we be merry when we're miserable? How can we be merry when we're miserable? And we're miserable because we're living such passionateless lives. We're living lives we don't want, we don't like, where we don't want them, where we don't like them. And it almost seems forever. It seems like we're stuck. And just like that animal that's put in the zoo, for the first 2, 3, 4 days or 4 or 5 weeks, if it can get to you, it will. And if you open up that gate, like this gate is open at 7 o'clock, I'm out here. Or if people clock in at 7:01, man, my voice is already going. I'm not waiting. You open up that gate and it's on you. Good luck. I hope you're ready. I hope you stretch and I hope you hydrate. Right? That's what this is. And that's what I want for all of us. So when I say I want you to be like me, that's what I mean. I want you to wake up like a caged animal roaring, ready to roll, because you're in your bag and you're doing your thing and your mind is firing and you're on all of your highest senses and all your highest levels of thought are activated. And you out here and you're just more brilliant than your conscious mind could ever even imagine. Just ideas are flowing through you and they're flowing to you. and you're seeing things you never saw, and you're being things that you have never been, and you're thinking thoughts you never had, and you're literally rising and rising and rising in performance and energy and outcomes. That's what I want. That's what I want you to be. Your version of that. I want you to sound like me in your own way. I want you to feel like me in your own way, and even better. But I'm just talking about the passion of something. I want to see for all of you, you doing something that you love like that. You won't need doctors then. You won't need medicines then. You won't need an alarm clock then. You won't need to be accountable then. How many people got to hold each other accountable at a party to have a good time? Well, I have an accountability group. We make up all this dumb shit. It's just dumb. Ain't nobody, hey man, make sure you're having a good time at the club with me. Nobody says that. Hey man, you better make sure you up here dancing. Nobody says that. Hey man, you better make sure you're talking to them girls or them guys. Nobody says that. Right? We have to hold ourselves accountable for things that we really don't want to do in the first place, or don't want to do that bad or that long or whatever else it is. I want you to be driven by that. I want you to realize why we're here. Right? We are doing things that we hate, our best. We're trying to put our best foot forward in a shoe that's too small. So we're in constant pain, constant discomfort, constant duress, constant stress, worry, fear, anxiety. We don't even know what we are, where we are. We're just spinning in a circle. Right? And this is what I want for all of us, is to come back to ourselves, to come together and reason and remember who we are. Who we are. Right? So, like I said, so many of us are living passionateless lives. So because we're not living our passions, we live passionateless lives. And when we live passionateless lives, we have to numb the feeling of a lack of passion. So what do? We drink as much as we can, smoke as much as we can, entertain ourselves as much as we can. We literally do everything we can to numb the lack of passion. You put that animal in a cage, and after 2, 3, 4 weeks, it doesn't fight to get out. You open up the gate and can walk away, go home, take a nap, come back, it'll be sitting right there. It's quit. It's given up. It just says, oh, that's the way it is. Oh, maybe this is just life. Oh, well, God will never put more on me than I want or than I can handle. Oh, well, just be happy with what you got. Oh, we have literally found a way to intellectually, through ignorance, we think it's intelligence, but we found a way to intellectually be satisfied with nothing, with literally nothing. Oh man, my leg hurts. Well, somebody always got it worse than you. What the hell does that got to do with my leg hurting? Like, is that supposed to make me feel better? Was that some kind of verbal Tylenol or some kind of, well, did that actually help? Show me how to fix my leg. Talk to me about, or let me learn how to talk to my leg. But just sitting around saying somebody got it worse, what does that mean? What does that got to do with me? I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm not complaining about anybody else. I said my leg hurts. I don't want to hear about starving children in Africa. I don't want to hear about that right now. My leg hurts. Can you help or not? Right? And so many of us are living lives we don't like. So we start to engage in things that numb what we don't like. So we distract ourselves as much as we can. We drink as much as we can, smoke as much as we can, watch as much TV as we can. We try to do anything we can to numb the pain of no passion, of no joy, of no fire, because we've lost it, right? And so we go out every day trying to suck it up, right? Suck it up. So then we go out there grinding. We can't start working unless we get coffee. We can't do this unless this happens. We can't do this unless this happens. And so our whole life is governed by everything and everyone but us. Everything and everyone but us. Weather gets cold, oh man, my knee's about to start hurting. Oh, then you wake up and you feel good, and the news tells you there's flu season. You're like, oh shoot, here it comes. Then you feel good, you got a couple dollars, and then you remember it's tax season. Then you go off, and then you're like, oh shoot, I got to go get my colonoscopy. I'm in my 40s. It might be about that time. Like, we just literally are governed by every external thing that stops us from being able to have control of our own lives. And we wonder why people don't want to be responsible, why people don't want to be held accountable, why people don't feel the ability to have any say in the life they're living. Right? And so I want all of you, all of us, to live with some passion in lives, not about what we don't want, but to focus it in and say, what makes me feel like that? What gets me up? So when they open this gate, when I open my eyes, it's on. Everybody knows what it is. Right? Everybody that can see me knows what it is. Whether I'm an electrician, I'm a doctor, I'm a housewife, I'm a what, it doesn't matter what you are, but to be great at it, to love something enough that you put your whole heart into it, to love yourself enough that you put your heart into it. This is your life and time is ticking. And we out here just letting days go by. Well, I'll feel better when. Oh, well, I can't do it because he or she or they or it. And none of those are you. And yet your life is ticking down. Your life is going down. Right? I want all of us to begin to engage in the things that drive us. It will make you smarter than you've ever been, more ambitious than you've ever been. You will be healthier than you've ever been. You'll be more excited and happier. You'll be more brilliant. You will be more of yourself because you're actually being yourself. It is important. It is important enough to love yourself, enough to give yourself an opportunity at life, to do things that bring you joy and happiness and passion, and learn how to magnify that, focus on it, and allow it to increase in your life. I'm not telling anybody to quit your job. I'm not telling anybody to stop taking medicine. I'm not telling everybody to leave your spouse. I'm not telling anybody to move out of your city. What I am telling you is to continue to grow so that you grow out of things that no longer serve you, to engage in things that promote your growth, so that you will grow out of things that no longer serve you. You don't have to throw your shoes away. You'll naturally let them go when you outgrow them. When I was in 8th grade, I remember, I can never forget, I went from an 8.5 in the summer of 8th grade to 9th grade. I went from a size 8.5 to an 11.5. I didn't have to have any motivational speaking or thinking or positive thinking or anything. I just outgrew them shoes. And the only thing that would have happened if I would have tried to kept them on is something else. Negative thinking, pain, or whatever else it is. I didn't have to quit my shoes. I just outgrew them. We don't have to quit things as much as we can outgrow them. But we can't outgrow them if we're not growing. And we're not growing if we don't know who we are and what we are, if we don't believe in ourselves, if we don't love ourselves enough to express ourselves, to do the things that mean something to us. That's what we're here to do. Right? Participation time. Um, uh, I guess I'll say this. What else? Okay. Okay. So, as you know, we're not here to sit down and just come in the back of the class and be lectured to and talked to. We're here to participate. That's how we get better at anything. If you want to learn how to cook, you can't just watch somebody forever. You have to get involved, right? When we drop our kids off at daycare or at school, especially the younger they are, if you look at them, they're participating constantly, whether it's fighting, screaming, crying, running, playing, building something, knocking something down. They're constantly engaged and involved. So that's what we are here, because that's what promotes learning. Just sitting down and being talked to may allow you to hear the information, maybe recite it, but you don't own it until you participate. I can watch, when I was young, I could watch my mom cook all day until I actually started doing it myself. I won't be able to do it. So participation allows you to have the firmest and deepest level of knowledge acquisition, aka ownership. Marriage, vacation, ice cream, business. What do all these, there's 1,000 things I could put. What do all these have in common? What are all these?
These are all things that I would say that we are taught or that we think of or conceive that are part of life. Everyone at some point in time may either do these things or may may have this as part of their life. When I was
Okay.
not so, I don't know so much about the ice cream because some of us
Mhm.
some has some tolerances to things, but the other three things, yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
I want to say their desires.
Okay. So desires things, but you just said that ice cream is actually a really good example when you spoke on that, because you said some of us have tolerances, but they're things. They're things. So then, whether they're desires, something you want, or a tolerance, that means you don't want it, let's just say. But what is that reflective of?
Reflective of how you envision yourself or uh, what what your motivation is. Like you said, when you wake up in the morning, what is your motivation? What are you motivated to do? Some of us are family, some of us are we need a vacation, and some of us are, we got to work, got to make that money, we got to, whatever. Some of us might have a small business, big business. We got to have that motivation to get up and do things.
There you go. All right, cool. I'm gonna get to what you said. We're gonna round about to it, because most people don't know what these things are. They have no idea. That's why ice cream, that's why I put that in there, because it throws everybody off. Because everybody's looking for, like, well, what are all these things have in common? It does have something in common, and things are pretty close to it. Things are pretty close to it. Right? But now I want somebody else. Who else is gonna volunteer? I got a question for somebody. Who wants to volunteer?
I volunteer. This is Tiffany.
Great, Tiffany. I want you, they do not have to be real. I want you to give me 3 things that you want. They don't have to be real. So that don't put your business out the street, right? But just give me 3 things that you want.
I want a private jet,
Okay.
my own personal island,
Okay.
and my personal wardrobe stylist.
Okay. Stylist. All right. Now, if you had a private jet, okay, you named all these things. They're not real. They're not real. But you named them all. Why did you name these 3 things? What do these 3 things have in common for you?
They're my desires.
Okay. So we said things, we said desires. Okay. So if you had this private jet, then what? How would you feel?
How would I feel?
Yeah.
Ecstatic, free.
Okay. Island. If you had an island.
Peaceful.
Okay.
Relax.
If you had a stylist.
Fashionable.
Okay. Now, what does fashionable mean to you? If you were fashionable, what would that be?
If I was fashionable, I am well dressed.
Okay, well dressed. Yeah, but what's the point? Why
I'm
do you
cute.
Huh?
I'm cute.
Cute. Okay. Yeah, cute. Right. So, okay, right. But so I want you. So, and if you were cute the way you wanted to be, then what would you get from that?
I feel good when I look good.
Oh, there. Wait. What did you just say?
I feel good when I look
Stop.
good. Okay.
What did you say? Say it again.
I feel.
Stop. There you go. Everything we want is for a feeling. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. The thing is for your physical body. It's for your physical world. The feeling is for you. The feeling is for you. You. You are not your body. You are not Tiffany. You are not John. You are not Marcus. We're not all these people. That is, we are truly us. We're in a body called X, Y, or Z. So the body, so us uses the body to have things, to have something. The thing that we have brings us a feeling. The feeling is for us. That's our food. That's our excitement. That's our joy. The thing is for the physical body's excitement and joy. That's why I kept hammering down, because no matter what you say you want, it's for the feeling of it. But that's why you're specific about what you want a lot of times. Because because when he said ice cream, he said some of us have tolerances. That means you don't want that. When you don't want something, it's because it doesn't make you feel the way you want to feel. So marriage, vacation, ice cream, business, they're things, but what are they? What do these private island stylists, their feelings, what do they so you can feel, before you had a body, before you came into this body, you could feel. That's why you want these things, because they're for your feeling nature. And then the things you can use physically. So you had feeling before you got here, you had that ability. So these things now are why you came into a body. What is the word? So over here is feeling. But how do you get the feeling? You need the physical body to have that. What does the physical body do? What does the physical body engage in that allows you to get this feeling? What do these things represent? Why do you have a tolerance for some and not others? Why do you pick a vacation in Florida and not Hawaii or Texas? What do these things represent?
Feelings we're trying to get out of our life.
Yeah, but you can feel, but you need a body for something. You need a body you can feel before you got here, because that's you. That's your nature.
Tony put in the chat desires.
Desires, yeah. But these things, they are. But how do you know what you desire or you don't? What is it based on? Like what are you trying to
vision for ourselves?
Kind of getting closer. These are all experiences. They're all experiences. When you have this experience of a private jet, it made you feel. When you had the experience of an island, you felt. When you had the experience of being fashionable and cute, it all boiled down to a feeling. A business is an experience.
That's right, put in the chat, validation of accomplishments.
Yeah, that's true. And the validation of that accomplishment is how you feel. But you can't feel anything without the experience, so to speak. You want a feeling, and since you're in a physical body, you need something in order to do that, in the sense of, so you go searching for, since you're in a physical body, your spirit doesn't know what chocolate ice cream tastes like. It needs a body to do that. But the taste goes backward. And you're like, I like it, or no, I can't tolerate that. That's not good for me. Right? That's why even in a vacation, or people go different places, because we all want an experience, but our experience is individually based. So we're using the vacation to have an experience. We're using a marriage to have an experience. That's why people mess it up all the time, because they have an idea of the experience they want, but they pick a person that they can't have that with. They don't realize it until it's too late, because they attach that experience to a person, but they may not know the person well enough to know if they can provide that experience. So now you're having an experience that you can't tolerate, but you can't stand him or her any more than you can stand that ice cream that you couldn't tolerate. It's something you don't want because it doesn't match your experience. So since it doesn't match your idea or your desire, since it doesn't match, you can't feel the way you want to. So you don't like it. It doesn't match. The inside and the outside don't match. What you're physically engaging in to have an experience so that you can get the feeling of that experience yeah, you have an experience and now you have the feeling of that experience, but since you don't like the experience, what do you think the feeling is going to feel like? It's not going to be any better than the experience. A job is just a business, it's just an experience. Now, how do we get the business we want or the marriage we want? Well, then we have to decide before we get into the business, before we get with the person, what type, if I know this is just an experience, if Desiree, back on the call, if you said, when you said marriage, what if you want to be married at 9 years old? Who is that? Who are you picking? Who is that?
At 9 years old?
Yes, who is that?
Jeez, I don't even remember back then. No,
Right.
probably, yeah, I don't remember.
Right. But so you don't remember. But here's the thing, and you're right, no one does. But we understood the concept of marriage from our parents. Like we understood we understood it, right?
Yes.
So then marriage is not a person.
It's an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Yeah.
So then, what is your idea? Is what we have to understand. If marriage is not, business is an idea. These are all ideas. And depending on what our idea of it is, we then go searching for an experience that reflects it.
George answered in the chat, Miss Parker across the street.
Hey, man.
Miss Parker, Miss Parker.
Hey, man. Hey, I understand. Well, we understand. Yes, sir. Right. So it's an idea. So based on the idea we have of it, we go searching for this experience. And then based on the experience we have, it rounds us back off into the feeling. So when people say, okay, I have a business, how do I grow my business? Right? Well, then you have to, so then it goes into like, okay, so it goes, feeling is the end. When people say, oh, well, why do we have to work on mindset if you want to have a business? Why do we have to work on this or that? Because whether you have a business, a marriage, a vacation, ice cream, whatever else it is, it's all for the same thing. We're doing different things, but it's all for the same thing at the end. Anybody who has a business, don't they want it to be successful? Anybody who's married, don't they want it to last forever, theoretically? Anybody who goes looking for ice cream, do they go looking for the one they don't want? Anybody who says, I'm going on vacation, do they say, I'm just going to go across the street? Does we go looking for something that reflects our idea. We need a physical reflection of our idea, right? So, because at the end, we want a feeling. We want this feeling to reflect our idea of it. So we have feeling, so it goes backward. Feeling, then we have experience, then we have idea, the idea itself, and then guess what we have at the beginning? We have us, the dreamer, the desirer. The dreamer, the desirer. So it goes from a desire to an idea to an experience and the feeling. So if it starts here with this person, it starts with the person. So depending on who you are, that's why you want to go for vacation here instead of there, because it's based on who you are. But if you know who you are, then you have to figure out, okay, what physical thing best reflects my idea of who I am and what I want to get out of this, what I want my relationship with a vacation to be, what I want to experience there. I want to go somewhere to ski. I want to go somewhere that has warm weather. These are all the same thing. They're all just experiences. But the ones we pick are individualized based on what I want to experience as the individual. Yes.
George enter in the chat facts, and that changes as our experiences change.
Correct. So that's why a lot of people have problem with this one at the top, because no one accounts for growth. People have the hardest time with marriage staying together because no one accounts for growth. When you have that ceremony that one day and you say forever and this or that, well, what is forever 10 years later that was 10 years before? Do you look the same? Do you weigh the same? Do you live in the same house? Do you have the same car? Do you live in the same city? Do you have the same job? Do you even talk to the same people? It's hard. This is hard for people. And a lot of things are hard for people. That's why change is hard, because a lot of times we want to change, but don't want to admit growth. How do you do that? You have to be able to change, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be, well, how can I do that if I don't admit or acknowledge or accept growth? And if I can't grow as an individual within this group dynamic, marriage, business, if I can't grow, then, and someone can't grow with me, or we can't accept our growth, then after a while, it becomes conflict. But it's not necessarily because the two people are bad. It's because they are growing. So their ideas change. Sometimes they change, sometimes they expand, sometimes they're like, oh man, that was a bad idea, right? But some things we outgrow. I'm not saying marriage, I'm saying our idea of it that we had when we first got into it. As individuals, we grow, and then the two individuals in their group grow, and each person has to be able to account for the other person's growth and give them room and latitude to express that growth, to be able to talk about that growth. But everybody feels like in order to remain loyal to this thing, we have to stay as we were 10 years ago. But anything that doesn't keep growing dies. And that's essentially, humanity is the strongest version of a living thing, so to speak. So we can take a lot more than other living things, but that's why we're the walking dead. That's essentially what that show is metaphysically. It's literally talking about people who are looking like they're alive, but they're dead on the inside. They're dead on the inside. They're completely gone. Their passion is burned out. Their desire is burned out. They have literally killed all passion and all desire in their lives to keep going. But you can't keep going properly if you're not growing. You can't do that. And that's why we are here on Saturdays. We are here to learn how to express our own individuality in a group concept, whether that is as small as marriage or business, or whether that's in society. Wallace Wattles has a quote that says, "You owe no man anything that will prevent you from making the most of yourself."
George put in the chat, to grow.
Everything, the reason we have a body is to literally have an experience. Why do you get on a roller coaster? Why do you get married? Why do you do this instead of that? They're all experiences, and depending on what we got from them, we either like them or we don't. So we either continue them or we stop, right? But everything is for an experience. That's what the physical body is for, so that we can have a physical experience. Without the body, we're like a person looking at someone on a roller coaster. We can only imagine what it's like, but we will never know until we get on it. That's the only way. That's what we're here for. Does anybody go to an amusement park and just walk in and just sit there all day and look at everybody else ride and then walk out? The only reason you go is to get on the ride, to have an experience. And the only reason you went to that amusement park is because you wanted to have that type of experience that an amusement park could give you. Otherwise, you could have had ice cream. You could have watched a movie. Everything we do is for an experience. That's why we have a physical body.
George put in the chat, The Science of Getting Rich.
That's it. Those are great books. Wallace Wattles is a great author. Science of Getting Rich, Science of Being Well, and there's one more. I'm sure George will know. But that's the point, right? And that's why so many of us, if we don't define what we want our experience to be, we'll be involved with something that either we don't like, don't want, or doesn't provide enough room for growth. So business. So everybody loves to talk about it. Business, if you have to understand something first. Business is an experience. So, need another volunteer. Business is an experience. If we understand that, then we need to choose what type of experience through business we want to have. Experience is always first. If you're winning, it's always first, period. But if you're winning, you'll understand it's first. So you'll create a business that is reflective of your desired experience. I want to have an experience called a business. Okay, so your business should be reflective if you want to win. If you want to consciously make good decisions and consciously have a good experience, you realize that your business is a reflection of your experience. What type of experience do you want to have through a business? What type of experience do you want to have through ice cream, through the amusement park, through marriage? You want to have an experience. Okay, so experience through business. Now, everybody likes to talk about business, so let's talk about it for a minute. Who wants to volunteer?
By the way, it was the science of being great.
Science of being.
Good advice.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who is this?
Yes, no, I'm saying I'll go. I'll volunteer.
Perfect.
Fashion.
Business. It's an experience. What is, so business, what is, okay, so we want to expand this. What's your first business?
Health.
Your first-
Help.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I said health, helping women overcome mental barriers as a single mom.
Okay, help.
Mhm.
Okay, that is what your business does, right?
Right.
Okay. Who is doing the business?
I am my experience based on my experience.
So, okay, no, you said you, right?
Mhm.
So then why is help above you? This is where people fail. How can you help her before? Well, I asked you, what is your first business? Why did you say help? How could it be help? If you had kids and they're 2 years old and they needed to be fed, but you were lying in the bed, if you didn't get up, could you help them?
No,
So then what's the first thing you have to do to help them?
me. It would be me.
Yeah, right. So then why did you say help first? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Right? This is why people can't grow their business, because they don't know what their business is. They think it's this experience. Okay, let's back it up. Whose experience is this?
Mine.
It's yours.
Mhm.
So then how could help be before you? This is why people can't have a business, don't like the business they're in, can't expand their business, because they are in math, like order of operations. They're all the things. Yes, help is true. That's part of the equation. You is true. That's part of the equation. Business is part of the equation. Experience is part of the equation. But the order that you put them in are the only way that you're going to get the right answer. There's only one way. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So what I'm trying to tell everybody, thank you so much for your participation. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Right. So what I'm trying to tell everyone here is that your first business is you. So when you want to grow this experience that you've created as a business now, it's mine, it's you, it's yours experience. So now you have an experience called a business. Your business now is making $100,000. Okay, cool. And your business helps other people. Cool. So now you're saying, I want to expand my help, or I want to expand my income. In order to expand this thing that you created, you have to expand first. Just like you had to be alive before you had a business, this business does not exist without you. So it doesn't exist independent of you. That means if it's not independent, it can't be bigger than you and be sustainable. It cannot. It cannot. Your business is just like your baby. If you want to help it, you have to help yourself first. You have to get out of the bed. You have to get up. You have to do something first for this thing that's dependent upon you. So you is first. You are your first business. You are. Business is not a living thing. It's not a real thing. It's something you breathe life into. If you go by a bill, when somebody says, let me give you another example. All right, another volunteer, who's stepping up?
What you need, man? What you need?
Perfect, there you go. When somebody says an abandoned house, what does that mean?
I mean, it's vacant. No one's there.
It's vacant. Vacant of what?
Occupancy.
Oh, okay. What is
of a person?
Of a person.
Yeah.
But isn't it still a house even if there's nobody in it?
Yes, sir. That's what Luther Vandross say.
Right. A house. That's it. The house is not a home if no one's there. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Right. So then, when we say abandoned, what are we saying?
You got me over here thinking now, because I would have just came in like the last.
Yeah.
So I like the way you make me think. I'm thinking. So, what are we saying when we say it's abandoned? We say there's no. I mean, it's empty.
So then, if it's empty, that means it's lacking a person, right?
Yes, sir.
Or people, and a person, a persona, a character, a mask. It's lacking life. It's lacking living. So this house is abandoned if you're not there, right?
Yeah.
So then, what is the difference between a business and a house? Don't you have to be there just as much as you have to be there?
Yes, sir. In some way, shape, or form.
It's the only way, shape, or form. That's why it's called abandoned, because there is no other alternative. There's either somebody there or not.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So my point, and thank you, man, I appreciate it. Thank you. Right? What I'm trying to get everyone to understand is that a business and a house are just, it's a house. They just called abandoned because there's no one in it. They didn't say it was, you identified it as a house because it still looks like that. You could build something and walk away from it. But if you walk away from it, next volunteer. Who's up?
I got this. I got this.
Cool. So now we have a house and it's abandoned. So, but it's still a house. It's still, you built, it's brand new. You walked away from it and you haven't seen it in 3 years. What happens to that house?
It deteriorates.
It
It starts to break down. Yeah.
It starts to break down. Okay. But if it's a house and it's built, why does it deteriorate? What is it missing?
Maintenance.
It's missing maintenance.
George put in the chat life.
It's missing you. Who's going to perform the maintenance?
True.
Like, hey, maintenance, I want you to go on over there to the house, man, and fix that up for me. Who is that? Right? Like, this is why we're here. We're not thinking. We think because we have been thinking our whole lives that we're actually good at it or know what we're doing. And why do we do that? Because we've been doing it before we crawled, we could think. We didn't have to go through any licenses, certifications. We didn't have to get a degree. We just were able to do this from even before we came out of the womb, we could think. Right? So we've been doing this thing so long that we don't actually critically analyze what we're doing. Just like thinking are almost like choices. We do it so much and we've done it for so long that we don't actually analyze the choices we're making. So the choice we made here, we're now suffering for here or having to use this to make up for the one we made here. Because we're making so many of them, we're not really thinking. And because they don't cost us to make, so to speak, I can make a choice right now. The outcome of it may hurt me, but I can make a choice. It's free. I can think it's free. But how I think or the choices I make cost. What the outcome of them costs. Right? So an abandoned house means there's no person living. And so it deteriorates. When you are not in there, it deteriorates. There is something with life has to maintain it. Your house is not a living thing. Your business is not a living thing. It is only going according to who you are. That's it. So if you are first, because you are your first business, then if you want your business to grow, if you want your house to be maintained, there has to be a life in there living. There has to be a person who now is expanding themselves to get more of the thing they want. If you want to add on to your house, you bring out contractors and everything, but somebody's got to pay for that. If you want to expand your house or expand your business, somebody has to pay for that. It's always the owner. That owner is you. So who you are determines the size of your business and your house. It determines the quality of your business and your house. It determines whether they're maintained or deteriorating. But so many of us think help is first. So many of them think the house is first. The business is first. And that's why it can't grow, because it cannot outgrow you. It can't outgrow you. A baby can't feed itself in that state of life. It's dependent upon you. And your business, your house, they're always your baby. Almost even when you have kids. My mom still talks to me crazy, still wants to tell me what to do. I'm in my 40s, she's still trying to tell me what to do. Always. She won't stop. She just, did you do what I tell you to do? Now you know what I said, don't you? It doesn't matter how grown I get, so to speak. She's always, I'm still her baby. Even if I'm an adult, I'm still her baby, right? And so your business and your house is like that. They never outgrow you. There's still a level of authority that you have. And if you want it to grow, you have to grow first. It does not grow first. You grow first. If you want the baby to stop crying, you got to get up. It ain't going to stop crying until you get up. You have to stop first or start first, however you want to see it. The baby is reliant upon you. The house is relying upon you, The business is on you. So these are the things that we talk about when we talk about developing the I. The bigger your I gets, the bigger your business gets. Right? You have to, and that's what I also mean by when I was talking about earlier, just passion for something. Developing yourself. So that you can put your greatness into this house. And oh, that's a beautiful home. Well, did somebody else take care of it besides you? Meaning, like, that's a compliment to the owner. Oh, wow, they have a successful business. They are the owners of the business. The business didn't make itself successful any more than it started itself or created itself. So the starter is you, the creator is you, the owner, the operator, the maintainer. The success or failure is a reflection of you. Doesn't mean it's something you can't change, but you have to change. So what I'm trying to get everybody to understand is that house, business, they're the same thing. So when people say, well, how do you succeed in real estate? How do you succeed if you're a nurse? The same way. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what area of life you're applying this to. That's why I talk not only generally because there's so many of you, and I'm not talking to you specifically about you and your particular thing. When I'm working with somebody, I'm talking to them about them and their particular thing. Right here, we're just coming together like a town hall, and we're all just talking. But the reason this is so important is because when you learn this, you can apply it to whatever you do. To being a nurse, to being a doctor, to being a parent, to being a business owner, to having a home, to getting a home, to all those different things. This is what I'm trying to impress upon you. That it all starts with you. And it's all a reflection of you. And you are the creator. You are the one that can make this grow or stop it from growing, or is only growing according to. This is why we're here, to learn how to think. That's why I'm so happy when you all say, hey, okay, now I'm thinking. Yeah, because we realize the reason we say we're thinking is because we realize we probably weren't before. We didn't realize, but we didn't realize it. I'm here to help you remember. I'm here to remind you. I'm here to help you realize, to come back to something. We are creative beings through our thought and feelings. We are creative. So we're always creating, like we're always thinking and feeling. And we have to do a better job of choosing consciously what that is. When we are conscious, we can have a paper cut and it hurts. When you're unconscious, they can do surgery on your back and it doesn't hurt while you're asleep. But when you wake up, it will hurt again because you're awake. A lot of the pain that we feel when we become conscious, when we start waking up, is because we're awake. Because now we realize the numbness of being asleep is waning. And so now you start to feel more pain. That Tylenol wears off. That alcohol wears off. Then drugs wear off. The TV goes off. There's no more wine left. Season's over. It's over. No more football, no more baseball, no more distractions. The Real Housewives of so-and-so, the episode, they're off. You didn't already did a whole marathon all weekend, sat up there with your bowl of cereal in your pajamas, and now it's over. Got to come back.
So Ashley is asking in the chat, what are some books that you would recommend to sharpen our mindset?
Oh, great question. Great question. I would say Wallace Wattles, the science of getting rich. I think it's the science of getting rich. I would say
Well, George put in the chat, Outwitting the Devil, which is another one that
that's another one.
Mhm.
That's another one. There's I'll give you some authors like Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, Wallace Wattles. There's also,
We have some book recommendations on your Instagram.
I've been thinking about this every week and I mean to say it. So I'm going to say it right now since you asked. There's a great book that talks about the I, that talks about yourself first. And it's a book called I Am, I Create. It's on the site too, but it's called I Am, I Create. It's a book by a woman named Erin Worley, I believe it is. It's a really good book to start with. There's some things in there that they're a little hard to swallow when you say, like, are you serious? But there's some things in there that I think we could get a lot from, right? Just realizing who you are and the importance of yourself and things like that. So I would say that's a really good book to start with. I Am, I Create. It's a really good book to start with, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay. So now I was also so now all right, need another volunteer. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Need another volunteer. Let's go, let's hit it.
I'll step.
I'll go. Oh, okay. Go.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I haven't heard that voice, so go ahead.
Who is it? Volunteer?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. You got it. I had the last one. Go ahead.
All right,
All
I
right.
got it.
Okay, John's up.
All right, cool. So when you are, I'm not a chef, but I'm gonna try to make this best I can.
Yeah.
When you are, let's just say you're making like, some cake or something like that, right? And let's say you have that bowl and you're putting in like the eggs or all the ingredients that need to go in the bowl, right?
Mhm.
So now you take the bowl off the counter and you have it like this. What are you getting ready to do?
Just getting ready to start the preparation.
Okay, so what are you getting ready to do with that bowl?
Uh,
With the stuff in it?
you're getting ready to see how you're going to combine the ingredients to make whatever the dish is that you have in your mind,
Right,
or
so,
that you get the flavors. You're
right.
trying to think of, you're trying to think of how you're going to make the combine everything to get the dish, the flavors, and get the whole essence of the meal.
So when you put that whole essence of the meal in the bowl and you say, okay, I'm getting ready to do this thing so that I can now put it in the oven, so to speak. When you have that bowl in your hand, you put all the stuff in there and you have that bowl in your hand, what are you going to do next? Let's just say that's cake. Let's say you're putting eggs in there and batter.
Okay.
What,
Okay. So once I have all the ingredients in the bowl, I'm going to start the mixing process. I'm going to start combining the ingredients.
Okay, so you said mixing, right?
Right.
Another word, stirring. All right. How come you didn't say grinding?
Because you said we're making cake. Now,
Yeah.
if we had some herbals or something like that, and we're using a pedestal there, maybe I might be grinding, because then I might need to grind the herbs, and I might need to combine, whether I'm making it into a powder or whatever I'm doing.
Man, what in the hell are you talking about? You're making this way more complicated than it has to be.
You switched it up.
Man, listen here, man. When you put that stuff in the bowl, you are stirring. I said, how come you didn't say grinding? Why do people? So what is the difference then? So we said stirring. Okay. So
when I say herbals, I'm talking about, it could be vitamins and all those things that not the first thing that might come to people's mind.
Man, it don't matter. You still got to stir it together, right?
Yeah.
Right. So here's so no, I'm just playing with you. But that's what I want people to understand. This is what I want people to understand. So then, okay, so stirring then is a part of what? Stirring, right? Putting the stuff together, stirring it is a part of what?
Combining things.
Combining things. So, okay, and then combining things is a part of what? It's a part of a what? Of a
binding or meshing together.
Okay.
Aligning things.
It's a part of a process. Right?
Yes.
It's a sequence of steps that you need to go through in order to get your desired outcome, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then what does okay, perfect. I'm gonna get somebody else now. Perfect. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna keep it rolling, keep everybody awake. Everybody in class is eligible. If you came to class, you eligible. Pay attention, wake up, get off your phone, hide your kids, hide your wife. Pay attention. Next, who's up? We're gonna build this together. Who's up?
I'm up, love.
All right, perfect. Sacrifice. When people use this word sacrifice, what does that mean? When you say, "Oh, I'm making a sacrifice to do this or that," what does that mean?
You are basically compensating for not doing something else that you want to do to get something else accomplished.
That is truly what it is. How do people use this word? Why do people say, oh man, you got to sacrifice? What does that mean? What are they saying? If you want to have your own business, you got to sacrifice. What does that mean? If you want to be a good parent, you got to sacrifice. What does that mean? Why do people use this word?
I feel like the way that you're saying it, they're using it in a manner where they're making it they're making it harder than it is. Like it's a chore. It's like like you have to not demean yourself, but you have to almost like punish yourself to get what you want.
That is correct. So then, is this word being properly used?
Most of the times, no,
So then why are we using it?
because
George,
most people don't. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, George put in the chat, denying yourself instant gratification.
Yeah, but if you're denying yourself instant gratification, are you gratified? Do you feel gratified when you're stirring? Are you turned on? I mean, in my business, you're like, yeah, boy, I'm out here, boy. I'm just out here. And I mean, am I missing something? Is anybody gratified? Like, boy, I'm winning because I'm out here stirring? No. The point here is that this word is poorly used, incorrectly used, and literally most areas of life, and most people should stop using it because they are literally butchering the word and they're messing up their whole experience. When you are creating a cake at the beginning and you go through your mixing and your stirring and all the processes, you are literally doing the thing it takes to get your desired outcome. You are engaging in the steps it takes to get to your desired outcome. It is not a sacrifice. If you want to be a good parent, do the things it takes to be a good parent. That's not a sacrifice. The sacrifice comes when you don't do it. And the school is calling your house. The sacrifice comes when you don't decide, you know what? I don't feel like stirring, man. I'm going to go sit back on the couch. Well, the sacrifice is you go without the cake. Now you got no cake. Do not confuse the process that's necessary to get to your desired end with sacrifice. They're not the same thing. Sacrifice is not necessary if you're doing it correctly. You do have to stir. That's not a sacrifice if you're making something you want to make. It's a sacrifice if you don't want to make it, or if you're making for somebody you don't want or don't like, but otherwise it's just a process because everyone has to do it if they want that cake. Now you can put it in a blender, but the point is that it's a part of the process. It's not sacrifice. And I'm bringing this up because I'm going to use another example in a second to get us to understand that we are confusing how to be what we want to be and become what we want to be because we are mislabeling things, misidentifying things, misunderstanding things, and we're thinking that we're doing something we're not, calling it something it isn't, requiring something it doesn't, and then we wonder why we don't want to do it, or why we're confused when we do it, or why we don't understand why we should have to do it, whatever it may be. Right, go ahead. Jessica.
Oh, I'm just gonna read off the chat. George put, if I began with the end in mind, I will understand the process. And then he put, we have to be mindful of our words. I'm learning that every day.
Living in the end. We're going to get to that in a minute. Living in the end. You want to know how to expand your business? You want to know how to do these different things? When we talked about experience is living in the end. That's how you know when you're with somebody and they say, hey, you want to go on vacation? You say, where are we going? Because you talk about the end. Because based on where you are going in the end, you're deciding, you say, if I go there, am I going to like that? You automatically go to the end. So if you go to the end to decide whether you want to do something even before you do it, then why don't you go to the end of your business being the way you want so that you've already decided before you do it? It's already a done deal. That's why you go there, because in your mind it's a done deal. If I can just get here, I'm winning. I'm going skiing, or I'm going sunbathing, I'm out in Hawaii, I'm out in wherever else. Go to the end. That's when you're talking about how to so-called manifest. Now we're going on that. Okay, I need another volunteer. Come on, man, let's go. This is not take that. Volunteer. There we go. All right, who am I talking to? Who's live on the radio? All right, here we go. Now, have you ever been at the grocery store and you get out the car and you walk into the parking lot and you see somebody walking out of the store, and they're walking out of the store with a bag of groceries, right?
Correct.
If someone were to ask you, you know, hey, how do they get those groceries? Right? What would
Correct.
you say? What would you say?
They went in the store and they purchased them.
They purchased them. Right? They purchased.
Correct.
They bought. Okay. Here we go. Now, are you ready?
Yep.
Everybody listen, pay attention. How come you didn't say they manifested them?
Because I thought
That's like the word of like the last 2 years, 3 years is getting hotter and hotter. The word is just like, I mean, it's just everything now, right?
Yeah.
How come you didn't say to that person, oh man, they manifested that? How come you used purchased? How come you didn't say the word manifest?
Because manifestation alone requires more work than just thinking. Just like, yeah.
Manifestation alone requires more work than what?
Then just thinking.
Okay, so perfect. All right.
Like
Thank you,
the
sir.
work. Meaning the work.
Meaning the work. Okay, here we go. Now watch this. When you purchased something or you bought something, right?
Correct.
You went to the store. You went to the place that it already existed. So
Correct.
so it already exists. You just went to the place where it was and you purchased it. You chose it. Manifesting is psychological. Psychological choosing. It is when you go into the storehouse of your mind and you say, I want that. It is picking. You're not manifesting. Manifesting what is another word people use for manifesting?
Another word for manifestation is let me think.
That's cool.
Is it one word?
Yes. People say you are blank your reality. They say you are in your reality. What is that word?
Dumbfounded. Still thinking.
Cool. Creating.
All right.
Now, cool. All right. Appreciate it. We're gonna keep pushing. Now watch this. Now, everyone, the things that you purchased or you bought at the store physically, did you create those things? Did you manifest those things? You went to where they were already in existence and you chose them. Manifesting is not creating. Just like in the physical world, you didn't manifest anything in the store. In the psychological world, you're not creating anything or manifesting that way. You are picking from things that already exist in the storehouse of your mind. That's why in the book it says creation is finished, right? When God created the earth for 6 days, on the 7th day, it rested because it created everything. Everything is already created now, but everything isn't put out at the same time. So when we're 7 or 8 years old, before we became parents or uncles or college graduates, that reality already existed, but it wasn't relevant to us at the moment. So it wasn't something we participated in. Just like every item in the grocery store or every aisle in the grocery store isn't relevant every day, all the time. We only go down the ones that are, yet they exist whether we go down them or not. The thoughts in our mind come according to what's relevant to us. So when that is what when we talk about manifesting, what we're essentially saying really is we are picking. We're picking. We are picking the experience that we want to have in our own psychological grocery store. Everything is available. Nothing is sold out ever. So we pick saying, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to have? Right? Now, so we're not creating anything. Creation's already finished. We have an idea. How do we have an idea if it's not already created? How could we describe it? How could we see it in our mind? How could it turn our emotions on? How could it excite us if we couldn't see it? But everything, like we talked about last week, starts inside, in the mind, and works its way out. So an idea starts in the mind. The only reason you're aware of that idea is because that's what the word invenio means. It means to invent. Invent means to stumble upon. It doesn't mean create. It means to stumble upon, to come upon. Right? So when we are manifesting, what we're essentially doing is we're saying, I'm going to go into the storehouse of my mind, and I'm going to say, what do I want to pick? What do I want to be, become, experience? What do I want to experience? Just like when you go on vacation, that's a title. Now, where do I want to go? Where am I going to pick? That's going to express my idea of a vacation. Right? This is it. Now, here's where people fall short. Here's where people get messed up. Now, I've explained this to several people this week. So if that's you, say nothing. All right. I need another volunteer.
I'm here.
You're here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. All right, here you go. All right, here you go. You go to Target and you say, you know what? I'm going to Target, man. I need to get some shampoo from there. So you go to Target and you go where the shampoo aisle is. You ask somebody or you just know. But you know that when you're there, you're in the right place. You go to the Target aisle, get the shampoo, and you look around and there's no shampoo on the shelf. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do then? You're in the right place. You're on the shelf. You're right there, but it's empty.
I'm looking for an employee to ask if there's any other shampoo in the area on a different shelf.
So it's empty. Then you said, I'm going to look for an employee. Now, and this is perfect. Great answer. So now, empty is what you see. Right? You see, there's nothing on there. But the employee is who you ask. Once you see for yourself that it's empty, then this to you does you no more good. That's it. That's the limit now. So now you are the seer. So now you say, I can't see anything. So now you have to, that's it for you. So now you have to ask someone else. So now you go from you as a seer to now you ask the employee. Okay. Great answer. Why do you ask the employee? You already looked on the shelf. You see it's not there. Why are you asking the employee?
Things will move sometimes. Displays, things like that.
Ooh, perfect. All right. Thank you, sir. And we will keep pushing. Thank you, sir. Now watch this. You were perfect. Almost as perfect as me. Man, you know, you're catching up quick. Stop it. Now, everybody wants you to understand this. We do it all the time. When we have a desire to be something, we can see what it is, so to speak. But what we can't see is how to become it. We see what we want. We see, he said, we went to Target. We can see. We went to Target to go get this thing. We see the vision. We see it. But when we get there, it's empty. So now the thing that we decided to move on and act on, we've come to a stop. We've come to a point where our physical world can't help us anymore. The original dreamer can't go any further. So now we ask the employee, all right, new person. Who we got? Come on, time is ticking. Let's hit it. Who we got?
Hey, what you need?
Perfect. Who is this employee? Who does this employee represent? You went to the store, you found no shampoo on the shelf, you looked around, you asked this person, who does this employee represent? For who is this metaphorically? Who is this?
The answer I'm seeking. I'm looking for an answer to my question. So
Yes.
I'm seeking.
Okay. So when you have a desire, who is this?
Mm.
This is you. This is you.
Yes.
Your name.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this?
My mind.
Okay. And what do people call this? You said your mind. What do people call this normally?
Normally?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Because I would have said conscious mind.
And what? Okay. So then asking, what is this actually? What do people call this?
Praying.
We do it all the time.
Yes, sir.
This person represents the ability to go behind doors that you cannot.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is just the name that everyone calls it. We're just using it so that everybody understands exactly what we're talking about here. This is you. This is your true self. This is the self of you, not your name. The self of you that makes your house, your body alive. Because when you abandon your body, that is called death. When you say, I'm out of here, that's death. So this part of you, your true self, which makes your body alive, people call God. You can call it the universe, you can call it whatever you want. Okay, so what you're essentially doing is you're asking a part of yourself. You're asking that employee who can go back in the storehouse, or like you said, or who knows more than you do. But the reason you do that is because your mind is mature enough to realize that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You just don't see it. What your ability to do as a customer is limited. What your conscious mind is able to do as the customer, I want something. The name of you, wants something, it wants to have something. But it's limited. You can go behind the doors and grab it and then get grabbed. Then you still didn't solve anything, right?
Yes, sir.
They'll be like, you know what? You can take the shampoo with you to jail. How about that? Well, but what do you think people are in when they're owned by their business? Their business got them under house arrest, and it got them under life arrest. What do you think is happening to people when their health is bad? They're locked up. When their business and when they're overwhelmed by their business, they're locked up. When their relationship sucks, they're locked up. This part of them has come to a stop. It can't go any further. It doesn't know how to do anymore. So then what you do is you say, I know what I want, but I don't know how to get it. So let me ask the person who does work there, who has ways and means I know not of, who has access to a part of this store that I do not. But just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Only a child would do that. Hey, did you go down there and get that shampoo, Ashley? Yeah, Dad, it wasn't on there. Well, did you ask anybody? Oh. Right? But just think about something. How many of us are limited this way? Meaning we want to be something or do something or have something, but never ask the employee. How many of us never ask ourselves and say, I got a business that's 25,000. I want to make 100,000 this year. You know what? Hey, and you're talking to yourself now. You're like, you know what? Hey, show me how to make 100,000 this year. Show me how to make 100,000. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you. I now believe I make 100,000 or plus. How many of us people go to the part of ourselves that has the ways and means that our physical limited consciousness doesn't?
I think we go there quicker when we get cut off. When
what do you mean by that?
When we get locked up. That's when
You
we
get
want
locked up.
and that's
But
when
now, that's great. But guess what? So now yourself can't advance you. It's got to free you first. So now it's got to get you out of jail. It's got to get your business back. It's got to get your health back. Why did you ask so long? Why did you go in the back without asking the employee first? Why wouldn't you go here first? We would go here first in Target and we won't go here in life. We never think to ask this person. Do you know what we do? We either try to say, hey, look, son, look, if you see anybody in a red shirt, you just yell, Roscoe Pico. Right? So you go back there, then you realize like, oh shit, this is bigger than I thought. I don't even know where to go. So now so we start devising all kind of ways that are just all out of bounds. So we want more money. So then what do? We get 3 jobs. We never talk to this person. So they can't tell us that things have moved around or we don't have any left. We didn't even ask them. We just went. This person said, oh, I'm stopped here. But let me go all the way around. Let me just work 3 jobs then. Let me go out here and let me just take a whole bunch of medication then. I don't need to ask this person that works here, that knows how this thing works, that knows how my body works because it created it. I'm not going to talk to that person. No, you know what? No, that's just, no. I'm my homie down the street. He knows because he know about these things. Right. And so my point is that when we have a desire in our conscious mind that we don't know how to meet, we need to go to our inner self that has all the answers. They're the employee. They can go behind the doors and into the storage room and go look and go grab out something that we didn't have access to. There's a limit. There's a relationship. Right? So then let's just say, so we didn't do that. So if you don't do that, then you turn around and you walk out with no shampoo. And now your head's still itching or whatever it was, you still in the same spot. Or people ask themselves, right? They pray, so to speak. And then they don't want to wait. They're like right now. But here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. They're like, oh, why is it taking so long? And we all understand that. That's our human mind. We all have been there. We're all still there. It's not a negative thing. This is it's not only important to know what to do, it's also important to know why we do what we do. Because a lot of things we do, we don't realize how insane it is or how off we are. We don't really realize it. But once we get these examples, we're like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that over here. Why am I doing that? Because we don't realize they're the same thing. If you ask this employee to go get the shampoo and they don't come back in 5 seconds and you leave, why did you leave?
Impatient.
Impatient. What is your patience based on?
Your need for how bad you need it.
Okay, so how bad you need it. If it was important enough to ask, it's not important enough to wait.
Yeah, it's definitely important enough to wait.
So why do people leave?
Maybe they didn't get locked up.
Right.
They've been locked up before.
Right. So my point is that we become impatient, but our patience is based on need. But if we need enough to ask, then we're either insane to not wait for what we say we need it for, or we're actually impatient in the sense of we ascribe a certain amount of time to when we think this should come back. But the problem with that is you don't work there. When that person goes through those doors, how big is the warehouse? Is it 2,000 square feet? Is it 5,000 square feet? Is the shampoo in the front? Is it in the back? Is it on the side? Where is it? Now you're outside, you ask the person. So I'm asking you now, how big is the storehouse in the back? How big is the warehouse? Where's the shampoo at? So then if you don't know, then how do you know you're waiting too long? What are you basing your time on? So a lot of times we pray and we ask God for something, but it takes too long. So we leave, and then the person comes out with the shampoo, and they're like, well, where are you? But you waited 39 seconds. But it's a 5,000 square foot, 10,000 square foot warehouse in the back. It takes them 39 seconds to even figure out what aisle it's on. So by the time they do find it and come back, by the time your answer shows up, you left. You've abandoned it. Because the life is no longer there. You have abandoned your own desire. You And then you said, well, maybe God didn't want me to have it. That's like saying, well, maybe the Target guy didn't want me to have it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I mean when I say, this is why we're here. We're not here to, this is the truth. It's not religious. It's not denominational. It's not, like a Republican or a Democrat. It's not that. Man, thank you guys so much for your help. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you, sir. It's the truth. It's something we can apply. Our desires for shampoo are no different than our desires for business, to have a family, to have good health, to have money. It's no different. How we would solve this problem if we were sane and mature is the same way we solve every problem we have. We have a desire. Our name has a desire. We have a desire. We now, our limit is, this is what our limit is. If we could do it, we wouldn't be so-called praying. So then doing isn't physically doing is not the answer. As you, the conscious physical person, you have two jobs. One, decide what is it you want. Two, believe you have it. Whether it's being, doing, having, whatever it is. This is your only job. I'm just going to write this right here for a second and just let it marinate. Just go ahead and just breathe on it. Just breathe it in, breathe it out, lay down, roll around, whatever you need to do, take a picture, whatever you need to do. When you have a desire for something, to be something, to do something, to have something, it doesn't matter what it is. Meaning, and your desire, meaning you have a desire for shampoo, but if you can go buy some shampoo, you're not praying over it, you go buy it, right? We're talking about you have a desire to be or do or have something that in your conscious mind, you have no way of how to get it. You don't know. You've come to your wit's end. Consciously, you come to your conscious mind's end. These are your only requirements. Decide what you want and then ask the employee. When you ask the employee, you now believe, since I've asked, I believe I have it. That's why it says in the wisdom book, it says, thank you, Father. I know that you hear me. I know that you always hear me. And because you hear me, I know I have what I asked of you. Just knowing the employee heard you, you know you have what you asked. They're going to go back there and look for it. They're going to go back there and find this thing that you know you want, but you can't see. You go to your higher self and you say, hey, I want to make 100,000 this year. I don't know how to do it, but I'm coming to you and I want to make 100,000 this year. Hey man, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I believe it's now so. And that employee, your higher self, is going to go into the storehouse of you and promote all the ways, get everything necessary for you to have that experience. All you got to do now is wait. But you wait not in impatience, not in hope, not in wishing. You wait in expectation. That's why you're waiting. See, the difference between the Target employee and this employee is that, one, the warehouse it knows where everything is right now. Number two, it's never sold out. And number three, it's always going to bring back what you asked for, what you expect. We don't get what we want. We don't get what we like. We don't get what we wish. We get what we expect, what we believe to be true. That's what we get. It's not because it's wrong to want, but wanting means I want something, but that means I don't have it. I got this marker. I don't want it. I have it. Right? So decide what you want. Believe you have it and wait in expectation. It will come. But time starts going by. We're like, well, where is it? Well, how do we get it? Well, are we sure? Well, did I do this the right way? Those are all normal things. They're all normal things in our maturation process. But as we grow and as we experience, we know to ask first. We know to ask. Well, Dad, I don't see it on the shelf. Can we go? No, I asked the employee. Just hold on a second. The young mind will say, I don't see it. Can we go? The mature mind will say, I asked. I asked the employee, they're gonna go get it for us. We just gotta wait a second. Dad, it's been like 10 seconds. You be like, yeah, calm down. He just left. They associate time differently. The immature mind, the young mind, associates time differently than the mature mind. You ask the employee, you ask your greater self, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want. I'm now giving you the request. And as a result, I believe I have it. And now I'm waiting for this to become a part of my physical world. But I'm waiting with expectation. I'm already assuming that it's so. When that, who's the next person? I need another volunteer real quick. We got 15 minutes and I'm hot, I'm on a roll. So we got to keep it pushing. Got to keep it moving. Anyone?
I go again if nobody want to go. I
Cool.
don't mind.
Cool. Assuming. When people always say this, people say, I don't know if you guys have ever heard people say this. Yeah, but when you want something, you got to take action. And you got to take massive action, radical action, and you got to do something. You can't just sit around and wait. You got to do something. Have you ever heard that? Cool. When you ask this employee to go in the back and to go get your shampoo, what massive action are you taking? What radical action are you taking? What thing do you do to get what you want at that point? What can you do at that point? What can you do? You ask the employee for your desire. What action do you have to, what do you have in your mind at this point that you're going to do? How are you going to help that employee? What are you going to do? Can anyone think of anything? What are you going to do? You saw that there's no shampoo on the shelf. You asked the employee, you said, okay, I'm not limited by what I see. I'm mature enough to know that just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So now I'm going to ask someone who works here who has ways and means that I don't. They can go back in the store and the warehouse and go get what I can't see because I know there may just be more of it. They can't put everything on the shelf at one time, just like we don't get life all at one time, right? We get it according to as we move on and things get used, things get replaced, right? So you ask that employee to go back in the thing, to go in the warehouse to go get your stuff. What can you do for that employee at one time? At that time, what are you going to do?
Talking to me, correct? To Johnny?
Say it again.
You're talking to Johnny, right? To myself?
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
to you, you went to ask that employee and they went to the back. You're standing out there waiting. What can you do?
In the meantime, while I wait,
yeah, what can you do to help?
I can research on my phone to see any other places may have it or in the store.
Okay, is that helping?
For the moment.
What is it helping? What is it helping?
You see, if they have more stock in inventory.
Where, at the store you're at?
Correct, or nearby stores.
Okay, but at the store you're at, even if they have more, you being on your phone, what's that going to do?
True. But I can also check nearby stores if I'm on the phone.
Yeah, but you're standing. Yeah, but you asked that person. You didn't ask nearby stores. You asked that person.
Correct.
You asked, let's just say, you asked God. You didn't ask your dad.
Yeah.
You asked yourself. You didn't ask your wife, your child, your daughter. You didn't ask your sister or your brother. You asked this person.
So there's more. I'm listening.
Yes, no, I'm listening.
Yeah, so my question is, what more are we able to do in that moment besides just have the faith?
That's my point. That's my point. The American word, nothing. Nothing. You can't do anything. You want to, that's why you say go on your phone. But you go on your phone, even if they say they got 100, what you gonna do about it? You still can't go in the back. And if it is true that they have 100, don't you think the employee would find 100 of them back there?
Correct.
Or at least the one you wanted?
Yep.
So then what are you doing? So then what is going on your phone doing?
Nothing.
Yeah, it makes you feel good like you're doing something, but what is it doing? Nothing.
True.
Just like you said, nothing. Something isn't always something. Something can be nothing. You're doing something, but you're not doing anything. It's not accomplishing anything. You're not helping anything. You're not doing anything to actually accomplish your desire, because at that moment and place in time, you can't. You can't. Now, if that employee comes back to you and says, hey, man, we're out, we ain't got it, that's different. Now you say, okay, I'm going to move on. But whether they got it, whether they looked in the back and found it or didn't find it, what could you do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing. So this whole thing of radical responsibility, radical this, you got to take action, you got to take massive action. You got to do this or do that. If you could have took any of those actions, wouldn't you have already? If you could, if you could go back in the store in the warehouse with them, you wouldn't need faith. You wouldn't need to worry because you'd be back there hunting with them. But guess what? You don't work there. So all you're going to do is get fired or get arrested or booted out. You're in a place you shouldn't be. When we have, I'm sorry?
I have a question when you get a chance.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
When we want more things out of life, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I missed it because I was in and out. But my question is, when we want more things in our life, and I know you're saying that we have to be at the place in order to receive whatever it is that we want, like to pull out of a manifestation, we got to actually be in the store in order to get the shampoo. So
Yes.
when it comes to things that we want to bring into our lives, what are we supposed to, like, what are the routes are we supposed to take to bring that to reality?
Perfect. Somebody earlier said, and I don't know who it was a gentleman, I don't know who said it, but the answer to that is, they said, live in the end. Live in the end. When you go on vacation and you decide, I'm going to Maui, but right now you're in Philly, let's say, and you want to go to Maui. Well, when you are making plans to go to Maui, you're making plans. Your thought is not about where you are. Your thought is about where you want to be. So all your plans that you're making are for the things that you're doing here, that you're doing in Maui. All of your thoughts and your plans are in, about, from. They are about this. They're not about where you are. They're about where you are presently in your body, in your mind. You're like, oh, okay, I need a rental car, right? I need an Airbnb. Are you going to use any of these things in Philadelphia?
No.
No, you're going to use them in Maui. So everything that you're thinking about is because you're thinking about this. Is because now you've now moved in your mind, not your body. You moved in your mind. So all of your thoughts are revolving around this. Everything that you think about, all of your plans and everything are about what you're doing here. As a result, like when you think, I don't know much about Philadelphia, my brother lives there, but I don't know if there's a beach or how far it is away. But Maui, I just went last year. There's beaches everywhere all day, and everything is the beach. So you're gonna be thinking about the beach. You might be thinking about suntan lotion, right? You're gonna be thinking about all the thoughts you have are as a result of this. So what I'm saying to you is, when you say, I want to have a bigger business. So now you say, okay, well, if I had a bigger business, how would I feel? What would I be doing if I had a business? If I start off with a business that's 25K and now I want a business that's 100K, what would I be doing with 100K that's different than 25K? What would I be doing different in Maui than I'd be doing in Philly? Would I be going out to dinner more? Would I buy a watch? Would I move and get a better place? What are all the, your life here is different. And when you start thinking from here, when you start assuming you are, all the things that you plan are based on that. All of these things are based on Maui. They're not based on Philly. So what you do is you say, okay, this is what I want. I want to move from Philly to Maui. So now in my mind, I now start seeing myself in Maui. So you may go online and look up some pictures. You may go on, but what you're doing is you're moving in mind to where that place is. And the longer you stay there in mind, the more you start to think like that thing. So you move in mind. You're like, oh, if I were in Maui, ooh, what would I be doing? Man, I'd be on the beach, or I'd be doing one of those luau's, or I'd be doing one of those Congo lines, or I'd be, and it starts to, and it's crazy when you magnify, when you turn your mind onto something, it magnifies. You start thinking about it more and more. We're used to doing it automatically negatively. I lost my job. That means, how am I going to pay my car note? How am I going to tell my girl? Oh man, my kids are in private school. Oh man, my insurance. When we think about something, it magnifies. We're just used to doing it unconsciously. When we do it consciously, it's like being awake is more painful because we're not used to it. And so then we start wondering if we're doing it right. But we're doing the same thing. One, just we're used to doing. So it doesn't seem like, it just seems normal and natural. But over here, it's just as normal and natural. It's just as normal to turn right as it is to turn left. But if you're only used to turning left, right feels strange. But they're both still driving. They're both still driving. That's why I say there is no positive thinking. There is no positive left and negative right. There's just turning, part of driving. Thinking, there is no negative or positive, it's just thinking. What you get from it that you don't like, you call negative. What you do like, you call positive. So you move in mind, and when you now assume you are somewhere, you sent that employee off. You're waiting, you're sitting there with the expectation. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna get this shampoo. You already assuming it. I'm gonna get this shampoo, then I'm gonna go and get this. Yeah, we'll go get your ice cream in a minute, son. Hold on. And then, oh yeah, and then we'll go. And then you already assumed it. So you're already just waiting for him to come back and move, keep it moving. So in your mind, you assume that you are where you are, or you have what you have, or you have the money, or you have the health, or relationship, or the business, whatever it is you want. And you literally, especially before you go to bed, you literally see yourself in Maui. You literally just think to yourself, what will you be doing there? Imagine yourself on the beach. Imagine, the sun, feeling the sun. Imagine 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 all the things that you're looking forward to doing, and do them now in your mind, because your conscious mind only knows now. That's why we've been talking about this for weeks. I am. That is present. That is now. It's not I will be, I'm gonna be, I hope to be, I wish to be. It's now. I'm now in Maui. There's a great video. I want you, everybody can really look it up, but there's a great video. You could punch it in Google, YouTube. It's called, look up Neville Goddard and Abdullah and Barbados. And it talks about how one of my favorite metaphysical teacher, Neville Goddard, talks about how he wanted to go to Barbados and he was broke. And how his Black Ethiopian teacher said, you're now in Barbados. He was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you imagine yourself in Barbados now. He's like, New York, you're no longer in it. He said, in your body you are, but in your mind you moved. And how he talked about, what are you talking about, or this or that? Go look that up. And this is a prime example, because Barbados is nothing but a desire, just like wealth, like health, like business, like anything else. You have to move in mind to where you want to go or what you want to be, and assume you now are. And when you hear that story, you'll have an even better understanding, because I'm keeping it short because we're, short of time, but that's how you do that.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting towards the end. Does anybody else have any questions? And as time goes by so fast, I always think about all the things I want to tell you guys, and it just goes by so fast. But, but I want to.
Sorry. I just wanted to say that what I'll do is we'll look up that video and we'll share it when I share the replay. And then I'll also share the I Am, I Create book as well, so you guys can have those.
Okay.
Today.
So if no one has any questions, I'll finish with this. Like, I always try to leave you with something that you guys can use and things like that. So I'm leaving you with this today. This is your life. The great philosopher T.I. said, there ain't no extra men, in the sense of like waiting for days to go by to be happy, waiting for days to go by to be successful, waiting. And what I mean by waiting is in your mind, you're waiting. I'm not just talking about your body. I said, don't quit your job. Don't quit this. You don't need to do that. You can outgrow it. Some things you just may quit because they're just easier, they're less to you. I'm not saying, well, I'm believing in God and I'm just going to quit everything. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying realize you are God and grow out of something. Realize that you have the power and you are the power to create your experience. And the reason you came here in a physical body is to have experiences. So choose what type of experiences you want. The experience of marriage, experience of business, and then what type of experience with that experience do you want to have? What type of relationship with that person do you want to have? You have to decide that, because you are half of the equation and the other person is the half. You are half of the equation and Maui is the half. If you go to Maui and then you say, well, what am I going to do now? How do you, this thing, it has all the possibilities, but you don't even know what you want. So you are half of the equation, and the thing you're desiring is the physical half, that you become one flesh. The two, your mind and body, become one flesh. Your desire and your experience become one flesh, right? So think about what you want to do and be and have in life, right? And say, you know what? This is what I want. And now I'm asking myself, hey, show me how to be this. I'm going to assume I am it. Show me what I need to know to help me physically experience this thing, and walk in the assumption. When you first assume it, your mind's going to say you're crazy. Your reason's going to say you're crazy, because in your physical world, it doesn't show that. But your physical world is nothing but a reflection of everything you've already believed to be true. It's just already here. It didn't exist before, just like your business didn't exist before you thought about it. Your health doesn't exist before you thought about it, or different than you think about it. So if your business is struggling, your business can't be struggling and you're successful. It don't work like that. You can't be sick, but your mind is healthy. It don't work like that. Right? Your mind is life, and it's expressed through your body. It needs a physical thing to show you what it's thinking. Your life is the mirror. Your body is the mirror to your thoughts. Your life is the world is the mirror to your life. So you have to choose what you wear. You have to look in the mirror and see how you look. So I want everybody to be like me in that sense. To find something that you love that much, where you sound like that, where you feel like this, where you up when it's 7 o'clock, gates open, it's on and cracking. Whether it's your parenting, whether it's your health, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your whatever. I want you to live with passion. I want you to live and realize you're important and valuable, and to start acting like it, thinking like it, talking like it, and you will see your life reflect and change and mirror that for yourself. So, hey, thank you all. I appreciate you coming always. It's always so much to talk about. Thank you. If you guys have any questions, we have, the stuff on the site. And we'll definitely see you guys next Saturday. So we'll start, going on lives during the week, answer questions or whatever else it is. So make sure you do whatever. I don't really know all that part.
Yeah, so follow us on Instagram, Lucky Mental Academy, and we'll be emailing out the replay. Johnny, if you're not on our list, I'll add your email to our list on the Mental Academy, so you can get all the replays and
Hey man, and I just want to tell you guys real quick. Hey, I just want to tell you guys real quick, make sure that you follow me, because man, I be going there like Lil Wayne with like freestyles. I'll just pop up out the box on you and I don't even wait. I don't even wait for anybody to get on. I just start talking to myself. So, I've done it a couple times this week. So, I just go on, I just start talking because I like to talk and I have things I want to say. And sometimes I just got to get it out. So, you guys just stay on alert, stay on, DEFCON 1, because I could just pop up on you. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, I appreciate you all. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Make it what you want it to be, and we'll catch up soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for showing up. See you next week.
Peace.